Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Junk Wax Junior. So recently, I get a lot of questions from a lot of people. People who aren't into the hobby, who don't know much about cards or anything like that, or collecting cards, and even some of the younger generation, like people I work with, and I tell them about my channel or tell them about what I'm trying to do, and or explain to them what I'm trying to do, and they say to me, "What the hell is junk wax?" So I was gonna make this little video just explaining what junk wax was, just in case you didn't know what it was. If you're watching this video for the first time and you're wondering what junk wax is, but junk wax was an era or a period, I should say, in the late 1980s to probably about in the mid 90s, when cars were manufactured, flooded the, card manufacturers, excuse me, flooded the market with cards to keep up with their popularity because they were extremely popular back then. This led to obviously a supply side imbalance between supply and demand, and most cards and boxes from that era are worthless. Not all, some are. Um, then similar cards that were released probably earlier in the 80s. Um, for instance, you can get a early Bird, Larry Bird card that might be worth a couple $100, and then you get one that's in that junk wax era, and it might even be in better condition than one from '81, but it's only going to be worth $3-4. And you're gonna be like, how is that possible? This Larry Bird is a 10, but meanwhile the one from '81 might be a 7. That's worth a couple $100. So that's kind of the example. So I guess the question is, why are my cards from my childhood, excuse me, worthless? The junk wax era, again, was from about 1986 to 1993, right between that. And, not only baseball cards, but all cards were massively mass produced. These cards are literally worth nothing, most of them. You know, they're probably worth kindling. You could probably better off taking a box like this and using it to start a fire, because there's really no value to it. But actually, we have another video later on about this box. I bought this box online on Facebook Marketplace, off of somebody for $20. It was fully sealed, still in the wrap. This was before I even thought of doing a channel. I opened it, I went through it, and I actually found, out of 1990, there's a list, the top 30 best cards to have in 1990. Out of this one box, I got about 26 of those cards out of that 30, which all have a value of anywhere from $20 to a couple hundred, which kind of was surprising to me. And one of the cards I got out of this pack that I'm going to do a video later on about is the iconic Bo Jackson card. So if you're my age and you grew up in that time, you know which card I'm talking about. It's in black and white. It's Bo Jackson. He's wearing his pads, football pads, and he's got his bat over his shoulders. It's also one of the most graded cards out there too. But I literally pulled it out of this pack. It was brand new, never seen the light of day. So gonna do a video on it, and I'm gonna send it off to be graded. Hopefully it comes back a 10 or as close to it as possible. Like I said, the pack was closed. I pulled it out. As soon as I pulled it out, threw it in plastic, put it in a penny sleeve. I put it in a rigid sleeve, and it went into a flat box with. I think some people just don't realize how large the print run was for junk wax era cards, that 87 to 93 window. Most companies have never released print numbers for any of these sets. It's just huge. It has been estimated that about 81 billion cards were produced during um, the junk wax era. Let's just put that into a little perspective. Today's print runs for this year's Series 1 Panini's is roughly about 1 million copies of each card made. And now you're talking about, 81 billion between 86 and 93. So basically the card companies were just trying to cash in, they're trying to make a quick buck, like anybody else. So they just kind of flooded the market with them. And like I said, some of them are useless, some of them are great. Some of them have some value, some don't. But like I've said before, I think they're a great card if you're just starting off or you're getting back into a hobby, because you can get them pretty cheap. Sometimes you can even get graded ones pretty cheap in really good condition, to start building your collection. Or if you have some, you can send them out to be graded. Again, you got to make sure you get your most bang for your buck. You don't want to send a card that's only going to be valued at $3 after it's graded and pay $20 to have it graded, because then that makes no sense. But some of those cards that are valued at $20, you can find them on eBay, $10. Local shows, $10. And they've already sent it out to be graded for you, so you're not paying the grading fee, and the card is only worth about $20 to $25. So sometimes it's a win-win on that end of it. You know, but there's actually no real number in the junk wax era, because I guess they really didn't keep great track of everything. I mean, to the point where you can, again, buy full closed junk wax box, and you can walk into a card shop and you can grab yourself a full closed junk wax box for pennies. You know, but the most iconic card from that junk wax period was the 1989 Ken Griffey rookie card. Is the most graded card of all time. It's the only sports card from that era that's been graded over 100,000 times. I mean, to the point that I have one and I sent it out to be graded, you know, because we're always hoping for that huge payday, and that, you know, this is going to be the one that's going to help us succeed and get, you know, a big payday. But unfortunately, it wasn't. You know, this came back as a 5, which is EX, excellent condition, I guess, 5. When I first looked at it, I thought, you know, maybe a 7 or 8, but a 5, I was like, whatever. Got to take the 5, right? You got to take the good with the bad. But you know, the problem with the junk wax era is that people don't send junk wax in to be graded just because it's junk wax. But like I said, some of it is valuable. I mean, I think this card here is like a $45 card. Again, you could probably get it for less than that, you know, maybe $20. But again, this is for my personal collection, so I'm not looking to get rid of it. I'm looking to just throw it into my collection. There is rumor that Ken Griffey Jr. might end up being the baseball commissioner one day. If so, then maybe the value of the card will go up. Maybe it won't. But that is the rumor, I guess. We'll see if that actually comes true or not. But you know, most people think that there's about 2 million of these cards, roughly. Some of the estimates I saw online, but I'm thinking it's going to be closer to that 4 million, because remember, they made about 81 billion. And what happened was, because it was junk wax and it was worthless, a lot of people who had these type of cards that were labeled junk wax just tossed them, could care less, because they were junk wax. Well, they're going to be worth. They're going to be worth anything, but they're actually coming back. They are going to be worth a little something. Again, is this going to be a Mickey Mantle? It's going to be worth 100 grand one day. Not in my lifetime. Maybe my kids, or maybe my grandkids, but definitely not in my lifetime. But it's nice to say, hey, I got a Ken Griffey rookie. So I guess in 91 tops, I've seen predictions that they've said they made 3.5 to 8 million of one card. Don't really know. They still have tons, like I said, of unopened packs sitting in card shops. You know, and I don't think 8 million would be an unrealistic number, because they don't have a number for every single card that was made. I mean, obviously their record keeping wasn't like it is nowadays, right? It's all electronic. I guess, you know, the other question is, will junk wax ever be valuable? Um, I think so. You know, I like to think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Been wrong before. Uh, but I mean, look, some of the PSA 10s that are junk wax are getting a lot of money. You know, and the hobby loves these cards dearly, and people pay good money for a copy of them. You know, as long as they're a 10. I mean, you know, you get a Ken Griffey 10, Ken Griffey Jr. 10. It's still going to be a $300-400 card if you can get a 10. You know, might be a little less. I mean, I'm just estimating. I mean, I've seen them go anywhere from like 300 to 400 when you do a search on eBay, to as low as like $75 for a 10. I guess it just depends on when you hit it. If it's an auction, if you want to buy it, if you need it for your collection. Um, you know, there is a limit. You know, some of these cards are scarce. They are, you know, hard to find, because again, like I said, some people discarded them. It's junk wax. Who cares about this? I'm going to toss it. And they just tossed it because someone told them it's not going to be worth anything. So who knows? I mean, hold on to your junk wax. It might be worth something one day, or it might not. But either way, like I said, It's a great way to get into the hobby. It's a great way to start collecting. It's inexpensive. Um, it's can be fulfilling. If there's somebody there. And here's the other thing too about collecting anything, regardless if it's cards, if it's comic books, if it's I don't care what it is, baseballs, footballs, whatever you choose to collect. Collect what you like. Collect what, when you grab it, makes you feel like that kid again. And it makes you feel like, oh, wow, I remember where I was when I saw this guy first hit a ball, or I saw this guy first catch a ball, or I saw this guy first dunk, or I saw this guy first throw a football or run for a touchdown. Whatever it happens to be, it has to connect to you. So it doesn't matter what you collect as long as you enjoy what you're collecting. Do you want to turn a profit? Everybody does, and that's why I do collect junk wax. And I do send some junk wax to be graded because, like I said, some stuff there is value. For instance, this Ken Griffey Jr., I bought it beginning of the year maybe at a flea market / yard sale thing. I bundled Ken Griffey with a few other cards that this guy had, and I think it might have been a total of like about 12 cards, and the guy gave them all to me for about $20. So I figured that this Ken Griffey I probably paid $2 for, and it's probably worth what, maybe 30, 35. I don't know. But again, not looking to sell it. I'm looking to keep it in my collection. But there are some other junk wax that I've had graded that I am looking to sell or looking to unload on eBay, Facebook, personally. Anybody, personal, like some friends that are just getting back into collecting, they want them. I'm more than welcome to part with them. So, like I said, junk wax, collect what you like. That's basically junk wax. So junk wax, again, what is junk wax? Junk wax is an era in sports cards in a significant period in the history of the hobby. It refers to the time frame of the late 1980s to the early 1990s when sport card producers, saw a massive surge, leading to an overstimulation of the market. All right, so that's kind of the technical term of junk wax, but the layman's term is they just made tons of cards because they're trying to cash in on everybody. And by doing that, they oversaturated and they made a card that could be worth thousands worth $40. That's junk wax for you.